Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up in the chat or just say you can hear me and you can see me. Hopefully you can. Just looking to see if anyone's actually there to say that I am live and they can hear me. So, hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. Yep, Mark's saying he can hear me. I've had to turn the music off actually because I'm just getting a repeat of myself. So I was going to have some background music, but I can't do that today. I'll work that out next time. Yeah, it's great to see everyone. I hope everyone's had a good week. See a few people on here saying that it's been raining a lot. They've been rained off. Yeah, Tracy's saying hi and got rained off today. So yeah, unfortunately it's that time of year, isn't it? And gutted it's the last day of the month and you wanted to hit a target. Yeah, well, we can't control the weather, can we? So I know this week it's been a little bit crazy. I've had a few days off at the beginning of the week, and then just trying to dodge the showers really, and some of them yesterday were so heavy. We've had flooding in Plymouth and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, it's a bit crazy weather, and today it's been raining all day today, so haven't really done anything at all, haven't been outside or anything. So yeah, I'm just gonna welcome some people in. So we've got Tracy's here. Welcome to the live stream. I don't know if you've ever been on before. We got Matteo81. I've seen you before, and just for you, mate. I know you want to see it, but I thought I'd show you. It's one of those things, you have to have cakes behind you, so just for you I thought I'd do that. Put some cake out, which my wife's nicely made today. We've got Mark. Hello mate, how's your holiday going? Not long left now till you're back to work. But yeah, I've seen some of your videos and they look really good. Let me just adjust this camera. Your videos are looking really good of France, and yeah, I've been quite jealous looking at your holiday videos. What else have we got? We got Back to the Feast. Hi there. We got Tony Becks. Hi. Alex Powell is in as well. So that's all good. So yeah, we've got a few people in so far. I'm not sure exactly how many we've got in. Let me just see if I can check. Oh, it doesn't matter, does it? I'm not worried about. Oh, we've got 8. I can see it now. We've got 8 people in, so that's not too bad. I'm sure more will join us as we go along. So yeah, don't know if anyone's actually watched my video from earlier, which came out. I put it out this morning. It was all about how much water I use in a day of window cleaning. So what's got me thinking about this, a few of you will know that I've got a Skool group, like my little community, which is linked to the channel, and I've got 23 people in there so far in the first month. And it was about 3 weeks ago, the Uncleanables brought out a podcast, and the title was Using 1,000 litres of water in a day for window cleaning, and it's Rob from Crystal Clean Windows, who I know, quite good friends with him. And someone in the community said, I'm just getting myself a van, and do you really have to have the capacity to have 1,000 litres a day? Is that how much you use when you clean 20 houses? So it got me thinking over the last few weeks about how much water I actually use. So ever since that person's asked, I can't remember who it was who asked now, but ever since they asked, I've been every day looking to see how much water I've used, and thought I'd do a video about it, because last week's video, people were asking about what my flow rate was from my controller on the brush that I was using. So I thought, do you know what, I'll do a video about it, as it seems to be that people are talking a lot about it at the moment. So I'm using, I think, roughly between, I said in the video, 225 to 300 litres a day, depending on how big the houses are. That's normally about 15 houses, I think, a day that I'm doing. So that's sort of the average. So I reckon average is about 250 litres a day of water. So when someone says, is 500 litres enough for one person, I would say 500 litre tank is definitely enough for a single operator working for the day on their own. So yeah, that got me thinking about that. And then one of the comments earlier on the video was JB Window Cleaning. I don't know if they've ever commented before, but he said that he does about the same amount of jobs in a day. They have one person in a van and they go through about 400 to 500 litres. And he said, I'm not sure how you're doing it for such little water. And then he said, do the rinse bars on the X-Line brushes make such a difference? So I was like, yeah, I think they do. And then he put a comment saying he'd just been outside and ran his different brushes into a bucket or something and worked out how much water he'd used, how much it would use. I think he ran it for 3 minutes at a time, and he said 4 pencil jets and 2 pencil jets used exactly the same water in 3 minutes. They were both 6.7 litres. Fan jets used about 6 litres of water in 3 minutes, but they weren't very powerful, so you would need to turn that up anyway. So that shows that having more jets coming out of your brush actually doesn't use more water than 2 jets. So he put that on there as a comment, and I thought I'd go on outside when it stopped raining briefly for 5 minutes. I went out and had a look at what mine did. So I put it into a bucket and then poured it into a jug to measure it. I just did it for 30 seconds and times it by 2, so I know how much it is per minute. So I ran 50-degree fan jets at 50 on my flow controller, and it used 1.6 litres in a minute. And then I put it at 60 on the controller, and it used 1.7, so it used 0.1 of a litre more for the fan jets. 2mm pencil jets from Gardeners. If it was running at 50, it would be 1.7 litres, and if it was running at 60, it was 1.8 litres. And then I did my 11 jet rinse bar from X-Line, which is on a 35cm brush. At 50, that used 1.6 litres a minute, which is exactly the same as 50-degree fan jets and slightly less than pencil jets. And if I ran it at 60, it actually did it for 1.8 litres. So it did go up a little bit, and it was in sort of at 60, it's in line with just 2 pencil jets. So it just shows that 11 jet rinse bar doesn't actually use any more water than a set of pencil jets. But with a pencil jet, you're having a rinse, side to side, whereas the rinse bar, because it's wide, it's just one pass down, so it's a lot quicker. So yeah, that was just something that I did this afternoon, just to see how much water the rinse bar used, and if it was less than pencil jets. And I was surprised actually at how little it did use. So I'm just going to go back to the comments now and see what people are saying. People just talking about the weather. Okay, so Tracy says, I use 400 litres approximately. How many houses do you do in a day with that, Tracy? Matteo says, I use around 350. And how many houses again do you do with that in a day? Back to the Feaster says 300 litres at 40 flow rate. And yeah, it would depend what sort of brush you're using and whether you've got fan jets, pencil jets. Put it down in there. Matteo's just asking about spotless water. I'll come back to spotless water a bit later because I want to talk about that as well. Tracy, we've got 350 litre tank and we carry a few 25 litre containers. Yeah, I always have a couple of 25 litre containers in the van with me, and it's not for extra water. It's just far quicker to fill up a backpack from a 25 litre drum than it is from your hose, from your tank. Unless I want to have a break for a minute and have something to eat and a cup of tea or something like that, then I always use the barrels to just tip it in because it's far quicker. Pain in the Glass, great name for your business. 1,000 litres is wasteful. Yes, you can rinse quicker, but you have to remake it, potentially wearing out filters and resin. It's actually, I think like 700-800 litres is a bit excessive. I get it if you've got 2 people and you're doing, so I do about 15 houses a day. So if you had 2 people doing sort of 30 houses, 35 houses, then obviously you're going to be doing twice the amount of water as a single person would. But if you're doing a lot more, and I'm not going to say anything against Rob because he does a fantastic job of his cleans, and he's going above and beyond for his customers, so they're lucky to have him really as their window cleaner. But I think he just, a lot of us over rinse, and I've cut down on my rinsing a lot, and just try not to waste water really. Mattia said, so pencil jet saves you more water. Well, going on what I said earlier, pencil jets used more than fan jets, and it used more than my rinse bar, but as you turned it up, it started to use the same. But what I'm trying to say is we use the same water, but is pencil jets the quickest way to rinse a window? I know I struggle with pencil jets because it's 2 jets like this. You're having to go across and it's time consuming, especially if the window is hydrophobic, is it, where it just sort of beads. That's why I like the rinse bar, because it's rinsing the whole width of the brush down in one movement. I find that it's a lot quicker for me. Then we've got, sorry, I've lost the comments. Back to the Feaster says, yeah, 25 drums with a little X-line trolley and 100 metres of hose. Just leave everything at the car like a van setup. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, so you're working from a car, but you're not obviously carrying everything around. You're just sort of unloading the car next to it. That's good. Never thought of doing that really. I know the X-line trolleys, is that the 45 litre one? They look really good. Yeah, so you've got 100 metre hose and 45 litres. You're probably going to do a house with that anyway. So yeah, that's good. Nikki Hughes, welcome. If I haven't said welcome to you already, use 500 litres a day, 1 man flow rate, 42, 2 pencil jets. Okay, so how many houses, how much are you doing for that 500 litres? And it's all over the place, and some people use a lot more, some people use less, and it's interesting. I find it quite interesting. You use the red fan jets for a closer spray. The grey ones tend to have an uneven spray, so the grey ones would be 100 degree fan jets. I think that's what Mark uses, the 100 degree ones. The red ones are 50 degrees. And sometimes you have to cut some of the bristles, don't you, on the brushes. I've never personally got on with fan jets for window cleaning. I have used them a little bit. I find them noisy actually. They're really noisy, aren't they? The water coming out against the glass. I don't know why they're noisy, but I use them on gutters and fascias, conservatory roofs when I do them occasionally. But I absolutely love the rinse bars from X-Line. I just think they're brilliant. The brushes are good. And the rinse bars are great. I started with a small 26 centimetre, then moved over to the 35. I've now got 3 brushes from them. The DuPont one, which I use, getting quite worn now. I've got a flocked one from them and another one which is, I can't think what it's called, but it's a little bit stiffer than the DuPont one. So I use that for sort of first cleans. So they're my go-to brushes. I don't really use any of the other brushes that I've got. And I use the little micro brush for soffit fascias and gutters, and they're really like the 4 brushes I use. I don't really touch anything else now. Tracy, JB window cleaning is the same town as you. What? I don't know where he's from, but what town is it that you live in? And then back to the fees, the same fan jets all the way. Yeah. All right. So people using. Matthias says he's doing between 12 and 18. That's sort of the amount that I do a day, and you said it was 350 litres. So you're using a little bit more water than me, but we're in the same sort of range really. PB Pro Clean, hello mate, how you doing? Thanks for the comments earlier on the video. You're saying you can do your day's work, which I think, if I remember rightly, you said was 12 houses a day. You're doing it on 250 litre tank, I think you said. So that's really good. Tempted to try a rinse bar. I'm worried about using more water. I don't know, Paul, I don't know if you missed the beginning when I said about it, but at 50 on my flow controller, my rinse bar used less water than pencil jets. So if you're worried about using more water, in a minute of it just running into a bucket, it used less water, but you're going to rinse a lot quicker the window, so you're actually going to use less in the end. I'd give it a try. Tracy's just answered you anyway. Matteo says, can you use the X-Line brushes on the gardener poles? Yeah, you can. If you've got the brush socket on the X-Line, I don't know what they come with. I always ask them not to send me a brush socket when I buy them. But you can take the brush socket off, or don't buy a brush socket. Buy your Gardener Pole Systems brush socket and pop it on. Maybe I can show you actually. 2 seconds, let me just load up the Gardener website. Right, okay, let me go back and share my screen if I can. Right, hopefully you can all see that, and I'm not going to be talking to myself. But on the Gardener Pole Systems website, you can buy, these are the straight ones, there are other ones, right, these are the swivels that I use. So you can just unscrew the brush socket from the X-Line one and screw in this brush socket here, and then that obviously becomes your quick lock, and you can do that with most brushes, so that's really good. Hopefully you all saw that. So yeah, I use the Gardener quick lock system. I brought it for the CVS pole that I was given, and I put it on my Phantom pole as well because it all fits. And then for my over 8 pole, I took off the end bit where you adjust the angle and just put the Gardener one onto the over 8. So now I've got the brush sockets for all of them. A Gardener, they're replaced on all of my brushes, so I can just flick them between the two. Pane in the glass, 1.5mm jets for me, extra pressure to help with the rinse. Yeah, I've got some 1.5 Gardener pencil jets, but I always found that there was quite a lot of pressure coming out, and it splashing back off the window all the time. Didn't feel like the water was actually running down the glass nicely. I just thought it was bouncing off the glass personally, but yeah. So PB Pro Clean, I had a feeling I missed something on the Gardener order page now. What is it you're ordering, mate? Micro brush. I know you said about that before. Good. Mark saying he can see what I shared. That's good. DA Components make a brush with... Yeah, DA Components brushes look really good. Maybe one day, if Darren sees this, he'll send me one to try out. But you can specify all different sort of jets and rinse bars. But most of the rinse bars that you can get from gardeners and that sort of thing, they're over the top rinse bars, so they tend to get in the way a little bit, which is why I like the X-Line ones, because they're inside the brush, so they're not in the way, and you just use them like a normal brush with your normal pencil jets. Alright, so I was able to show me the brush with the rinse bar that you have. Yes, I can show you that. Let me just share my screen again. Right. I came prepared and opened up a few tabs beforehand. So when you go into X-Line window cleaning, I always do it down the side. Here we go. Water-fed pole brushes. Let me just check that you're seeing this. Yes, you are. So this is the brushes with the rinse bars. So I go into rectangular brushes, and so I'm going to show you the ones that I use. 35cm brush is what I use, but you can get the same in 26. 11 jet rinse bar, so you've got a choice of 3. They're not cheap, we'll just say, but they do last a long time. So this is the DuPont one that I've got, so we're looking at £87 for a brush, but I think I've had that brush almost 2 years now, and it's starting to wear on the corners, but I think you can get a brush bumper from Gardeners will fit it. So this is the one that I use. This is the DuPont one. Oh, I've lost all my settings again. So the flocked one looks very much similar, but it's just orange. So this is it here, and if I go back a page, it's called Evo. That's it, the Evo Light. This is slightly stiffer, and I've been using that on first cleans. And then when I buy it, I just say I don't want a brush socket, so it's just the brush comes with the hoses that you want. And I think somewhere down here I've read it. Somewhere, I can't find it, but basically it says about the rinse bar is a way of saving water. That's what they say. Right, let's go back to where we were. So yeah, I think it's a way, they say it's a water saving thing on the brush. So yeah, it uses the same amount of water, but you've got lots of little jets coming out. I'm just looking at some of the comments. Right, Paul, you say in the no rinse bar the micro brush won't work with the over 8 poles. So it will work, but you would need to buy, let's go back and show you. It's got to be the easiest way, isn't it? So let's go back here. So what I brought was this angle adapter, which is £5.95. I unscrewed this bit here, and it's got the same teeth on it, and that can fit on any pole. So if you put this bit here, you can put that onto an over 8 pole. I've done it. These bits are all the same on every sort of gooseneck. They clip together, and then you can put a Gardener quick lock on there, and then you can get the micro brush, which will fit on the end. So the micro brush, if you haven't seen it, looks like this, and the brush socket is moulded into the brush. So yeah, you can do it. You'll need to buy that complete gooseneck and take the top off, and that's what I did on my over 8 pole. And then you can use the Gardener quick lock and the swivels and all sorts of things like that. Kev, hi Matt, only my opinion, but I didn't like the Gardener swivel socket at all, and I thought it would be good as I like wagtail squeegees, but couldn't get on with it. I've been using a swivel for a while. I used the one that came with the over 8 pole. You can buy them, but then I wanted to use some of the Gardener extra accessories that you can get, and when I had the over 8 pole and I brought the Gardener gooseneck, I thought it was really good, so I decided I would change over to all of them. And yeah, it worked out really well. I don't think it's much different to the over 8 one, apart from you can adjust the tension, and obviously it make it harder to swivel. I know some people hate swivels, some people love them. I personally really like them for window cleaning. I think it speeds up the cleaning a lot as you move around the window, and also you don't have to stand right in front of the window. But I hate them when you clean gutters and fascias, and if I'm doing skylights, I like to have it on a fixed gooseneck, because otherwise I'm finding when you're cleaning at 35 foot, any slight movement and the pole tips over on the swivel. So I find that really awkward. But most of the time I use a swivel. But yeah, it's personal opinion, isn't it? Some people like them, some people don't. Trace. When you started out, window cleaning was really well paid, but now it's, with inflation rises, it's not so great. Well, have you put your prices up? Because obviously, if you're not putting your prices up, maybe on a yearly basis or every other year, you're really just taking a pay cut, aren't you? Everything goes up in price, and people get pay rises in their job, and it's just how it is, isn't it? If you've got to be able to keep going and keep your business going. If you're not earning enough, then it's not worth doing. I know people have said like they're struggling to earn £25 an hour. You might as well not bother if you're not earning, £40, £50 an hour, because I'm not saying you shouldn't bother. I'm just saying, if you look at it, by the time you've took off all your expenses, paying for a van and your water and everything that goes with running a business, and you're travelling, petrol, everything, you're probably not on much more than minimum wage. And for the stress of it, running your own business and that, you might as well go and get a normal job. I'm not saying you should do that, but just saying, you need to increase your prices. I know this year I actually did a price increase. It was April time I did it. And I went through, and there was a lot of the jobs that I took on when I first started. I'm just going to drink my tea before it gets cold. A lot of the jobs that I started when I was first starting out and took on, they were quite cheap, sort of £12, £13 each. And I've been taking on new customers at sort of 15, 16, 17, same houses. So I increased all of those. It was probably half of my jobs I increased. And then there was a few others that I thought, I'm going to put £1 on these. So some of them went up £3 or £4 to about £1, and I think it was about 70% of my jobs needed to go up. So I put them all up and thought, I did it every day. So through March, every day I went, as I finished that day, I'd message them and say, next time it's going to be X amount of money. And sort of the first week, no one's worried about it. They just said, yeah, it's fine. And I think I got to the last day, the last person I texted, and they said they didn't want to carry on. So I lost one customer out of about 280 or something like that. All had a price increase, all just said carry on and do it. So I don't know if I'll do it next year again, or if I'll wait and do it the year after, or maybe later in the year next year, and do £1 for everybody across the board, really. Clean Go. My computer's playing up. If I had a gardener backpack with a rinse bar, do I use more water? So I still use my gardener's backpack occasionally if I need to. Sometimes it's just easier to grab it for a single window, or it's a house you've got to walk up to a little bit and it's not too big. I will grab the gardener's backpack. Doesn't use any more water, a rinse bar. In fact, I just turned down the backpack a fraction. It's probably not on as much as if I'm running it from a van anyway, but I don't really find that it uses much water. You just got to work a bit quicker, and the rinse is so quick that I end up saving water. You've seen that, Paul? Yeah, that's what you need to buy, really. Do I work quicker with the bigger brush? I would say so. I find it does take a little bit of getting used to, because it's a lot heavier. You're looking at, I'm not sure the weight exactly. I think it's about 280 grams for that big brush, and I think the smaller version of it is about 220. So it's not loads more, but it is a little bit more heavy. But you do get used to it. And what I find is you clean the top of the frame, and then as you come down the side, because it's quite wide, you've cleaned a lot of the glass on that side as you're doing the side frame. Same as you go down the middle bit. Say if you've got two panes together, as you go down the middle bit, you've cleaned a bit of the glass as well. And then when you get to the glass to clean it, instead of maybe having 3 or 4 passes to get across the window, it might only be 2 or 3, or even less. Sometimes some windows it fits perfectly and it's 1 pass down. It just less passes across the window, and then the rinse is really decent off the rinse bar. So sometimes you don't even need to move the brush, as I said just now, from side to side. They are. I find it really good. I don't like using a massive brush, but it's funny because when I clean facials I use that tiny little micro brush. It seems stupid going from a really wide brush to that, but it's funny. Paul, PB Pro Clean, what pole are you using now? So I'm not going to say anything bad really, but I was given the CVS pole at the Cleaning Expo to try out, and I did a couple of videos on it, and my initial thoughts were that it was a nice light pole, nice and rigid, and I really enjoyed using it. But then over the few months that I've had it, I've had a few problems with it, and the guy Adam from CVS, I've told him that I'm having problems with it, and he said he thinks it was just that pole. It was like an ex-demo sort of pole on the stand. When I got it, it had a broken clamp anyway, because someone had dropped the pole on the floor at the show and snapped one of the clamps, which is why he gave it to me partly. So I glued that, and that was fine. Then I had a couple of clamps come loose because they're glued on, so I had to glue them on. And then where the clamp was broken, it was the very last clamp. Because it kept coming loose all the time, I kept tightening it, and because I over tightened it a lot, it cracked the section below. So yeah, there was a big crack in it, and that was one of the clamps that came loose. I tightened that up and glued it, and it seemed fine again. And then it's anti-spin, but it's done with like a rail inside, and it just, as I was using it, it's just getting more and more loose and not so much anti-spin in it, and the clamps are spinning a little bit, coming loose, and I was just getting a bit fed up with it. So he says that he's got a new range coming out and they're different clamps, he's redone it all. So I've sort of put it away in the shed and I'm not using it at all anymore, and I've picked up my over 8 pole and started using that again. And it's nothing against the CVS pole, but when I used one and then used the other, it felt like I was going from CVS pole was like driving a Ford, and then the over 8 pole was like driving a Rolls Royce. Just felt so much nicer to hold, nicer to use. The clamps felt much nicer. So I do like the CVS pole, and it's, it was quite good. But the over 8 pole I find it absolutely brilliant, and it's just easy to use, nice and light. But I'd like to try some other poles out there and see which one I like, but I'm not sure about these anti-spin that are anti-spin from like a rail inside. I like the over 8 pole because it's anti-spin because of the shape. That's the pole I'm using again at the moment. I also did buy a cheap pole from eBay, which is about 16-foot pole. It's made, I believe it's made by the guy that makes the over 8 poles, but it's round. It's got the same clamps. It's sort of like it's like a test pole really that he's put out to see what it's like, because he contacted me and asked me about what I thought about the material it was made of, because it's apparently a carbon fibre that doesn't wear so much. And I think it's alright. So when I've put the CVS pole in the shed, I've got that one out and put the hose on that, and if I know it's a bungalow or it's just a smallish house, I'm just grabbing the little 16-foot pole out and just using that. It's nice and light, and it's nice and easy to use. I find that the 25-foot over 8 is a bit long when it's collapsed, so this is like really small. It's ideal. Mark, I'm going to upload some holiday spam when I get back because the internet is slow here. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. Holiday internet is never that good, is it? But I know you've had some mega videos from your camera. Looks really good, especially now you're uploading them into 4K, something like that. They're looking really good. Yeah, and I enjoy watching your holiday videos. It's good. PB Pro Clean, would you go for a Gardner? Yeah, I think I would like to try a Gardner Pole Systems pole SLX. I think I'd like to try. I keep recommending people buy those, not because I've used them, but because I just think there's such a good range that they do, and all the different brushes and all the different attachments, and you get a pole and it's got everything with it that you need, and they're reasonably priced, aren't they? And they're so popular with window cleaners. I just think there's a reason why they've been popular, and it's probably because they're quite good and they're reasonably priced for what they are. I know there's someone on Instagram, can't remember who he is, but he recently started using a gardener pole instead of an over 8, and I asked him what he thought of it, and he said, I'm not sure I'd buy another one, but I don't know why that. But yeah, I would like to try it. I have asked them if they'll send me one, but they won't. But at some point, I guess I'll have to put my money where my mouth is, that I've been telling everyone to buy them and that they're good poles, and I'm going to have to buy one myself and try it out, aren't I? I do like the fact that you can get all the extensions for them. I know you can get that for the over 8 poles as well. But yeah, I think they're all right poles, really, from what I've seen. Paul, oh, you're looking at the clean links. Yeah, I think they look all right, but I don't know if they're anti-spin, are they? I think they are, and I think they'll be the same sort of way that the CVS pole is anti-spin with the rails. I know someone local who he borrowed something from me the other day, and I was chatting to him, and he's got a ultra reach pole, and it's exactly the same. It basically looks the same as the CVS pole. It has the same clamps, it's made of the same material. I think it's come from the same factory, and it's just got their branding on. He's had it a year, and he said the anti-spin's gone, the clamps are playing up and coming off. So I don't think it's like the CVS pole is the problem. I think it's the poles from that manufacturer. I don't really want to badmouth them, really, because he gave me that pole for free. But yeah, I just don't think they're that well made. I know a few years ago, A. Macintosh was trying to sell a range of poles. His were identical to that as well, and he didn't want to sell the ones that were anti-spin because he said he wasn't sure how long the anti-spin would last. So he is probably right, actually, to say that they wouldn't last, and I just don't know how long they're going to last. I don't want to be buying a pole every year because it's not lasting. And with the gardener poles and the over 8, you can buy the extensions. So if you don't want to buy yourself another pole to reach sort of 35, 40 foot, you can just buy the extensions to go on it, because how often do we actually use that? I've got a 35 foot phantom pole. I think I use it twice a month, and I pay sort of £300-400 at the show for it. I could have just bought some extensions for the pole that I had, probably a couple of £100, and the amount of times I used them, that probably would have been a better option. But I don't know if Clean Links do any extensions or anything like that. They are anti-spin, right? Okay. Matthew, I always think Gardner are like the Apple of the window cleaning world. I think they just dominate everything, don't they? They don't do any advertising. They don't go to any of the shows, but we all still buy their products. And I think they're fantastic. Mark says he's only ever used Gardner and he likes them. How long do you reckon your poles last for, Mark? I know someone on my last live stream, we were looking at the Gardner poles, and they said they'd had it for something like 8 years, and it was still going if you look after it. I know I've had my over 8 pole. I brought it second hand, but it was barely used. I've had that for about 3 years, and that's still going strong, and feels like it's really good. Orbital poles from Window Cleaning Warehouse. Yeah, they've brought an anti-spin, haven't they? But I don't personally buy from Window Cleaning Warehouse, and I can tell you the story. I'll tell you the story because I don't think I've ever shared it. I got my van system fitted at Window Cleaning Warehouse, facelift system, exactly what I wanted. It was about £4,000 and then electric hose reels and everything. You pay for fitting, which I think is about £400 or £500 on top. Went to Wales, to Barry, to get it fitted on a Friday. Drove up there, had to be there for 8 o'clock in the morning. I live in the very edge of Cornwall, so I had to leave something like 4:30 in the morning to get there for 8 o'clock. Got there for 8 o'clock to get it fitted. They fitted it, drove home again. After a week, the battery went flat on the system, so I phoned them up and said it's gone flat. They said, well, you're obviously doing something wrong. Then I took the battery out, charged it, it was fine again. Then it went flat again after another week. So I rang, not the guy that fitted it, I rang their office, spoke to someone else. He said, come back and we'll have a look. And I said, I'm not driving back 3 hours for you to have a look at it. I will look at it myself and have a look and see if I can find out what's up with it. So I followed the cable back from the battery, and there's a fuse, a strip fuse. They hadn't done up the end, so it wasn't obviously charging. The split charge wasn't charging at all. So I did that up, not a problem. It went for about a year, and then I started getting my van battery going flat all the time. I'd be parked at a customer's house for the day, go to start at the end of the day, and it's flat. So I inquired with a few people, and it turned out that it was the split charge relay that they fitted. They'd fitted I can't think what it's called, voltage sensitive relay or something like that, which is for an older style van. My van's got smart alternator, so it needed a battery to battery one, so that the van alternator charges the van battery first, then it switches off, then the other one will tell it to charge the other battery. So what was happening was, it was charging my van battery, the van battery was then charging the other one. So when I cleaned all day, the van battery was flat. So at the beginning of this year, I've got a mate who's a mechanic. He rewired it all. Also, the wires behind the cover from Window Clean Warehouse were just like a bird's nest of wires everywhere. Absolutely ridiculous. So he's wired it in, proper split charge, new battery, new van battery. Haven't had a problem since. And I'm not the only person that has experienced that from Window Cleaning Warehouse. I know a couple of other people that have had systems fitted by them, and they've done the same thing to them. So I personally do not buy from them anymore, and I'd rather pay a little bit more from someone else, which is unfortunate really that I can't buy from them, because they brought out a couple of suppliers, Pure Freedom and another supplier that I used to buy from called Wintex, which was local to me, have all been brought out by Window Clean Warehouse. So I'm constantly trying to find suppliers for my resin and that sort of thing. But they totally bodged my van, and I would not recommend them at all, and I won't buy from them. But the Phantom clamps, the rubber's really good. Yeah, the rubber, I absolutely love the Phantom pole that I've got, the 35 foot. It's absolutely brilliant, and I really like the other poles that they do. But out of principle, I just won't buy from them anymore, and I won't be buying a Phantom pole, unfortunately, even though they look really good. And it's just, I just can't buy from them because of the way they treated me. And when I complained to them, they just, fobbed me off with something about it's my fault, and they should know better. If they're a supplier and installer of this equipment, they should know better. Mark, you're a trad for 8 years before switching to the waterfed pole. Do you know what? I didn't ever know that. I did not know that you used to do traditional window cleaning. So how long have you been waterfed pole, Mark? Has it been a few years that you've been doing that? Kev, Window Clean Warehouse, it's a shame because I had a Phoenix pole. It's absolutely brilliant. Lasted miles longer than anything else I've had, but their customer service now is not good at all yet. That's definitely true. The Phantom pole I've got is actually a Phoenix pole. I brought it at the show. It's 35 foot, but they wanted to get rid of them, so they put all the Phantom clamps on it. So it is identical to a Phantom, but it actually says Phoenix on it. And it got a moth in there. 2 seconds, I'm just going to shut the window. It's got dark and a moth's come in, and So yeah, I brought that at the show in a 35-foot pole, and I think I paid £320 for it, which was way cheaper than the Phantom version, but it looks exactly the same. Tracy, they lie. Oh, see, I'm not the only person who's got issues with window cleaning warehouse. Mark says he won't be using them again. Yeah, Mark, you had the same problem, didn't you, with your van? I know you've recently had your split charge changed over to the correct one for your van, and you were having the same problem with batteries going flat. And they should just know better, and I just don't know. They're buying everyone out, but their just customer service is terrible. People waiting for ages. There's the local guy that borrowed something from me. He ordered some resin from them. It came and the bag was split. Instead of them saying they'll knock some money off, they wanted it back and they'd send him another one. So he was about a week or so without any resin, and he was ringing me to say, have you got any resin I can borrow? Can't borrow it. Because they're messing me around, and he won't buy from them either. So you've been Spotless Window Clean Supplies isn't far from them. All right, okay. You've had nightmares with window clean warehouse, yeah. I've started buying from the cleaning spot, which was what I did last time. I brought some resin. It was cheaper than window clean warehouse. It came next day delivery. I think I ordered it Friday evening after they'd shut, and it came on Tuesday morning. So I was happy with that, and it was a good price. Okay, I've just got something. I can't seem to ban them. 2 seconds. I seem to have someone trolling in here, which is interesting. I'm just going to see if I can get rid of that comment. 2 seconds. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to talk for a minute till I see it coming up. I'm just going to ban that person from putting anything else in the comments. Someone mentioned earlier about spotless water. Does people use spotless water? I can go into that. Right, I've got it. Hide this user from the channel. Okay, right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Right, so spotless water. I don't have a spotless water near me. The nearest one is about 45 minutes drive away in Exeter. Just reading some of the comments in. Yeah, I wish I could ban this person. Just ignore them. I'll just ban them later. Actually, I'm going to do it again. So yeah, spotless water is about okay, I think I've done it again. Funny, isn't it? You get a troll and they're obviously desperate, aren't they? Okay, so spotless water is about 45 minutes away from me, so I don't use it very often, hardly ever. In fact, I actually, up until recently, I've been using DI resin only because my water was so soft. 43 parts a million is, on my TDS thing which you got here. Check my water, it's 43 parts per million, which is nice and soft, and I could get away with a DI resin. So I would fill through one DI resin into the tank, And then I had another DI resin in the van which it would go through to just finally polish it off. Then I could get away with letting the water go up to like 20 parts in the tank, because the other resin would take it down to 0, and that worked perfectly. And during the summer months I noticed that it would go up to sort of 80, something like that, which I wasn't bothered. I just used a little bit more resin in the summer months, and then in the winter it would drop off again, and that's fine. But recently I noticed that I was using a lot more of my resin up. I brought a bag of resin and I had to change it like every week. So I thought I'd check the TDS levels, and I was shocked to find that they're actually at 171 at the moment. So not last week before they were at 171. Last week it was at 180, but it's been quite wet this week, so they've dropped down to about 141, which is still ridiculously high. And it's because the reservoirs are lower, and I think someone told me that when the water's short, shortage of water, that counties borrow it from other counties, so this is why you get a spike in TDS. Paul PB Pro Clean saying it 43, mine's about 140. 140 I would take now, because mine's at about 160. So what I'm going to be doing this week, Tuesday I've got a van MOT. If that passes, I have to empty the tank out for the MOT because it's too heavy for the ramp and that. So the tank's going to be empty. So I'm going to go to Spotless Water, which is about 40 minutes away, fill up. Then on the way back, I'm going to go to a place that I know. Actually, it's Streamline. And excuse me. So Streamline have a tray counter, which I never knew about, and they sell all the bits on eBay from a tray counter. So I found somewhere they're selling a RO system with a tank, 1,000 litre IBC. So I'm going to go and look at that this week. It's all reconditioned, so it's all new parts. We're going to go and have a look at that, and I'm possibly going to buy that and have a static system at home so that I can produce my own water. And I don't have to go through loads of resin. I've worked it all out on like a spreadsheet, and it will, currently at the waters as it is, it's going to work out cheaper for me to do that than keep buying resin. So yeah, I would, if Spotless Water was near, I'd be using it. Yeah, I've banned them already, but I will try and ban them again if they're back. Let me just have another look, see if I can ban them again. Where are we? Right, are they back again? Are they? Report them. Report. Sorry about this, guys. I've not had this before. Right, hopefully they're gone. Sorry about that. Mark, what I've done is I have put you as a moderator. I don't know if you know who that was, but basically you can click on anyone's thing now and you can delete them. So if you see them come up again and I haven't noticed it, just click on the little three dots next to the comment and you can ban them or report them. So if you can do that, if I've missed it, that would be great. Maybe someone else at some point, I'll add you as well. You can be a moderator if this keeps happening. But yeah, let's go back to the comments. Where were we? Right. I use Spotless. Unfortunately, they're 20 minutes away. It's reading at 0 ppm over time. Yeah, see, that's perfect, doesn't it? And your tap water's 350. Yeah, so that would make sense for you to buy it, wouldn't it? spotless water are very good overall, bit expensive but less hassle and expensive than an RO system if you're just starting up, and I've used them. Yeah, I've said that a lot to people that are starting up, and they're saying, how do you produce the water, and saying if you're just starting up and you've got spotless water near you and you're not going to be using much water, because you don't know how much you're going to be using at the beginning, just buy it in. It's a business expense that you can obviously deduct off. Until you know what you're using and how much it's costing you, then just do that, because if you buy an expensive RO system and then you give up in 6 months' time, you've then got to get another thing you've got to get rid of. Mark's saying as soon as you buy an RO system, you won't need to buy or change resin as often. Yeah, I think I worked out it needs to be changed like once a year or something like that, but obviously you've got to change your filters, haven't you? How often do you change your filters, Mark? Your like carbon filter and the other one. I know your membrane has to be changed every couple of years, doesn't it? But the other filters, I think that people are saying it's like 3 or 4 months. So they're not expensive at all, are they? But I think because you get a lot of wastewater, up to 50% waste, that's what, when I worked it all out, it was like they were basically worked out the same price for the resin to do it that way, or to have a RO system was basically the same price running each of those. But that was when my water was at 43. So now it's gone up to 170, 180. It's definitely going to be cheaper to have an RO system. Is anyone else using a Bailey system? I've seen them online. I've never used one. They look quite good to me because they're like yellow and blue, aren't they? I've seen them on eBay and that. And they look like quite a good price. I do need more moderators. Matty 81, do you want to be a moderator? Just while you've mentioned it, I can add you in a minute if you just let me know. Bailey's water-fed pole systems. Yeah, they look quite good. There are some, I think, although they fit window cleaning warehouse ones, I know Billericay Cleaning Supplies, they seem like they do a really good job. And obviously someone fitting window cleaning warehouse's equipment is going to be different to window cleaning warehouse fitting them. Window cleaning warehouse, just are a nightmare, and they don't fit properly. I've lost my chat, sorry. Right, I'm going back to the other page. Apologies, guys. I'm having a bit of a nightmare here. I think Billericay Cleaning Supplies, they're not too bad, and I've just added you as a moderator. And there are various places that will fit them, and they all seem like really good. I just don't like Window Clean Warehouse. I absolutely love the Streamline fittings and tanks and everything. They look fantastic, but I don't want to pay £8,000 or £9,000 for a van system. They're so expensive. I just don't know why they charge so much for them. I know when I change my van to the next one, I'm going to probably do a sort of DIY system. I'm going to buy the tank and the frame, pumps and everything that I need to buy, and I'm going to get my mate who did my split charge relay, he's a mechanic, he's got his own ramp and everything. I'm going to get him to install it all exactly how I want it, with all the wiring and everything, and I'll buy everything separate and he can install it for me. And I think I could probably do what I want to do for, 1,500 quid, maybe £2,000 instead of 4,000 from somewhere else. Or do I just take the system out that I've got now, put that in a new van? I don't know. We'll see how long my van goes for, and I'm not planning on changing it anytime soon. Not in the next couple of years or anything like that. So yeah, that's all I'm thinking. I will probably get him to install it, and I might even get a hot water system. I asked him when he rewired it all. He said he looked at all the wiring and all the plumbing, said I could install that for you easy. And I'm quite happy to install some of it, but he would bolt it in and do all the wiring, and it would be good. PB Pro Clean, I don't get why anyone buys a ready-made system. DIY is easy. There you go. You did a DIY system, didn't you? I know when I wanted my van system, didn't have a clue even about any of the wiring or anything. Now looking at them, I think, yeah, it's quite easy, but I want it bolted in, so I'm going to get him to do it. And I think he'd do a really good job of it. And I won't be buying a system from anywhere like that again. Rowan, thoughts on the X-line systems and the high mod pole? And do you mean high mod poles in general, or do you mean X-line high mod poles? I think the X-line systems look alright. They do look quite big, don't they? When you see them installed in a van, they do take up quite a lot of room. I know I looked at one at the show and it had hot water and everything. I think it was a 700 litre tank, and it was in a long wheelbase Vivario, and you barely had any room behind the bulkhead for a gutter vac or anything because it took up so much room. That's the only thing I think about them. They are quite big and bulky, but they look alright. High mod poles, yeah, I love high mod poles, and the X-Line ones. Rob Crystal Clean Windows is not on here, but he uses the high mod poles, but he puts the phantom clamps on them because he says the clamps that come with the X-Line ones aren't that good. Yeah, so Tracy's saying, if you want your van system built into your van, I highly recommend Spotless Window Clean Supplies. Okay, yeah, 20 minutes away from Window Cleaning Warehouse, and they did your system, did they? Into a 2-man system with 2 power up reels. Nice. I'll bear that in mind when I have to buy. I'm going to go and check them out at some point and see what they've got when I want to buy some stuff. Mathieu says he's preparing his van for winter, fiberglassing the floor. Yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? I know my van's got a waterproof lining built into it already, like a liner. That's what the 4 Transits have. So I just use that. For winter time, my little tip, I can't park. I have to park on the opposite side of the road to my house. So I can't run a extension lead into the van with a radiator or anything. So I use a king size, really thick duvet, throw it over my tank, and the hose reels are on top of the tank. And then just before I go to bed, I stick a couple of hot water bottles under it. That keeps the frost off the hose reels and all the pipes and everything. And then if it's really cold, I bring the backpack and sort of my pole and brush into the house, and that stops them from freezing. Or if I'm going to leave them in the van, I will open the uni valve and leave it open, let the water run out. Then if it does freeze, it's got room to expand out the end. And then just before I go to work, just stick it some hot water and sort of defrost it. So yeah, winter time, I don't look forward to winter. I know we're September, so it's getting to the point where I'm thinking now I'm not looking forward to the winter again. But you just sort of get through it, don't you, somehow, and look forward to spring. Some people I just think don't want to, but yeah, I think some people do just buy ready-made. I really like the ready-made tank that I've got. It does look really professional. All the wiring's hidden, and I'm glad it was hidden because the mess they made. Tracy, have you seen the cheaper hot water systems that are about? Yeah, I have seen them, but I think they only do it's only for 1-man system. I'm not sure I want to buy one. They look alright. I really want the Frostat feature which you get on the more expensive ones, where it can blow air around the van to stop the frost from getting on all your stuff. The window washer, hello mate, how you doing? I did a DIY system. It's by no means pretty to look at, but it serves me well. I think if you've done a DIY system yourself, you know how everything goes together. Get a problem, it's easy to sort out, isn't it? Because you you literally installed it yourself. The guy from Spotless Window Cleaner, oh, he's a window cleaner, is he? So he knows his stuff, yeah. And then Mark saying, your system's good enough to transfer. Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think probably I will transfer it to another van. I've got it at the moment coming out the side door. It's right behind the bulkhead. And it sort of comes out the side. I don't know if I would go down that route again. I quite like it out the side, but I think coming out the back is better. And I think the next van I get, I'm going to get a long wheelbase van and put the tank towards the back, and then everything behind the bulkhead is going to be for my gutter vac and generator and that sort of thing. So the side door is for all that equipment. The back is just for window cleaning, and I think I probably will move it. It's cost me a bit of money, and I might as well keep it because it's not really going to break. It's only a tank at the end of the day, isn't it? And a hose reel and pumps, and they can all be replaced. So yeah, I probably will keep it because I do like it. It does look nice, and I'm going to get a second hose reel for it at some point. Talking to Mark the other day about it, and going to get one that looks like the 3D power up reel that I've got now, but it's like a manual one. And that's just going to be like a backup. And my wife was talking about coming to work with me at some point in the future when the kid, when the baby goes to nursery and school. So she'll be using that, and I think probably will keep it because it will do the job, and I think it will last for years. And once it's paid for, which I've got about another year to pay for it, it's only like £60 a month or something I pay for it. So it's nothing at all. Then I might as well keep it because it'll be paid for. Meals cleaning. Oh, hello. I haven't said hello to you. I've got an immersion heater in the tank, warms the van up enough to keep everything. Yeah. So I suppose if your water's hot in the tank, it's not gonna cool down that much overnight, is it? So it's going to keep the van warm. Right, see, yeah, Matty has got to go. It's no problem, mate. I've got to go in a minute anyway. I've just noticed it's 7 minutes past 9, so I need to go in the next 5 minutes or so. Thank you for the models. No worries, mate. I'm glad to have some people. I didn't notice someone was spamming us in the chat, which is very odd. But yeah, a couple of moderators now, so that's good. And if I see some other people in here regularly, then I'll add them as moderators as well. Try and get rid of the weirdos, yeah. So yeah, just before I go, I just want to mention my paid community group, which is on the Skool network. I was asked loads of times about starting up some sort of group, so I decided to go for it. And it's on the Skool network. It's £15 a month, but on there's some downloadable things. And I think we've got 23 people in there at the moment that are members. It was half price for the first 20 members. Now it's gone up to £15 a month. But there's people in there who are quite new to window cleaning. Some people are a bit more experienced. Some people that are adding window cleaning to their existing business. So they're all there asking questions, and I can personally help those people. I dedicate more time to those people than someone who messages me on Instagram and asks me a question, because obviously they're paying for my knowledge. And it's been really good and really interesting. I put some videos on there that I don't share on YouTube, and I'm really enjoying interacting with those people. So if you're interested in that, there is a link in the description of this live stream, and you can join. It's £15 a month. Whatever you join at, that is the price you pay for the lifetime of your membership. So if you're interested, I'm not going to try and sell it to you, but if you're interested in getting started, or if you're trying to grow your business and you want a bit of help and just a bit of knowledge, then hit the link and join the group. It'd be good to see you inside, but I will continue to do my YouTube videos anyway. Mark's just saying, in the winter, use 50-degree water through my double DI straight into my tank in the morning before I set off. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, before you set off for work. And Mills Clean saying, glad it's going well with the community. Yeah, it's going really well. I was blown away by the first week. I had 20 people in there. It's obviously slowed down a bit now, but got some really good people in there. And they're, you know, it's not like these Facebook groups where people can't ask the question. They're quite comfortable to ask a question that might seem silly to some people, and we sort of show them the right way to do it, or just give them a bit of advice and just help them out. So yeah, it's a really good group to be in. So yeah, that's an hour and 10 minutes we've been going. It doesn't seem like it was that long, did it? Goes so quick. So I'm planning on doing another live stream at the end of next month. I'll try and do one once a month if I can. It's hard just to get them fitted in with everything that's going on. But thanks again for everybody who has come on here tonight. And sorry about the trolls in the chat, and sorry that you had to read some of that. But hopefully they won't be back. And yeah, thanks for all the questions and interacting, watching the videos. If you haven't seen my video tonight that came out, it's about water usage, really what we've been talking about this evening. A little bit more detail maybe I've gone into there. I think it's about 15 minutes, that video. Go and have a watch of that in a minute if you can. Yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in tonight, and I hope everyone has a really good September and the weather and the showers hold off. So yeah, thanks again for watching again tonight, and I will see you on the next live stream. Cheers.